So one of my least favorite sayings is fake it till you make it. Oh, I hate that. I really do hate that. But the funny thing is one of my favorite sayings is actually really close to that, which actually comes from the Bible in Proverbs that says, a man thinks in his heart, so is he. And I think a lot of people confuse the two of them, but they are very far from the same thing. Very far. One of them, and I want you to stick with me because some of you think these are the same. One of them means to fake it till you make it, means my outward persona, the outward thing that I'm showing everybody, is that whatever it is that I believe or want to happen is what I'm showing you. Like, let's say I want to be wealthy, and so I'm going to fake it till I make it, right? That's the mentality we're going to have. I'm going to fake it till I make it. And those people are the ones with a lot of credit card debt, right? They're faking it until they make it, and so they have spent all their money and then some on nice clothes and jewelry and to try to show the person next to them that they're rich when they know in their heart they're not. Okay? They are faking it until they make it. And it literally does the opposite of making them wealthy. It makes them poorer. So when a poor person acts rich, they tend to get poorer. And this is something that happens so often when somebody fakes it till they make it. They, instead of getting closer to their goal, they end up getting further away. And that's the reason why I hate it when people fake it till they make it. Instead, I like the biblical principle of that as I think in my heart, as I decide in my mind, that's where I become. And that's not faking it until you make it. That is changing the mentality. That is changing who I am as a human to become who I decide I'm going to be, because I've changed in my heart who I am. Now, would you say, well, okay, does that mean that for the same instance that you've decided that you're rich, so therefore you're going to go buy all those things? No. Rich people don't tend to have a ton of credit card debt. See how that works? Rich people don't tend to go buy things they can't afford. There's a different mindset. It's all about mindset, really. And so this is why I don't believe in that. And this is specifically why I don't believe in that. And when I was younger, I didn't grow up with a lot. My family didn't have a lot, and I'm a pretty successful person now that I am older, and I've had great opportunities to do things in leadership and consulting and things like that, and help build teams and opportunities around church and different things in my life, and I really have seen this blow up in so many people's faces, this fake it till they make it. And I've heard so many pastors and I've heard so many leaders say this over and over and over again, to the detriment of the people they lead. And it is such a bad thing. And so I want you to think, and I'm just going to touch on it for just a minute, to just toss that out the window. Don't fake it till you make it anymore. But I want you to change your mindset. I want you to take that goal of whatever you have. What is that goal that you have? What's that goal that you've always been trying to achieve? And I want you to start thinking that that's not tomorrow, that that's today. I want you to start believing that that's not tomorrow, that that's today. And I want you to start walking in that simple truth, that it's real. And so years ago, I decided that I was wealthy, and I was going to live like I was wealthy. I was going to live like a successful person. I was no longer going to live like a failure. I was no longer going to live like I was in poverty. I was going to live like a successful person. What does that mean? Well, it probably means something different to everybody. What it specifically meant to me is the way that I carried myself, the way that I respected myself, the way that I expected other people to treat me. It meant that when I walked down the road, I didn't hold my head down low with an expectation that other people would treat me poorly. It meant that I was successful in life and that other people were to treat me like I was. And I was going to treat myself like I was successful. And I held my head high because I was successful. I changed my habits because I was successful. I changed the way I thought because I was successful. I did things that successful people did. And I always tell this story. I've told this story countless times to countless people because I believe in this. I really do. And I literally can tell you where I was with the car I was in, with the two friends that I was in the car with. And I remember thinking to myself that successful people listen to jazz music. So I was going to start listening to jazz music. So I started listening to all kinds of jazz music. Successful people golf. And so I started golfing all the time. I mean, all the time. Became, a pretty decent golfer. And that became actually a big part of my own success because that really did open some doors for me with leaders later on in life. And I decided that successful people smoked cigars. So I started smoking cigars. I don't encourage you to do that. Please don't do that. I decided that successful people, I had never seen successful people go fishing. Now I live in Florida and only successful people can afford to go deep sea fishing. So don't give that up. So I stopped fishing. That was a silly thing. Don't stop fishing. Keep fishing. I fish now. I stopped fishing. I stopped eating barbecue chips because I didn't know any wealthy people that ate barbecue chips. I'd love to eat barbecue chips now, so don't stop that. But I really did change my mindset, and some of those decisions were so silly, and some of them were spot on. But I literally, from that moment on, just flipped a switch in my head and completely changed the way I thought. I didn't fake it till I made it. I completely changed the way that I thought. And I remember sitting down with a manager and he told me how much money a job made. And I said, well, that's fine, but I need to make more than that. And he said, okay, well, how much do you need to make? So I told him. And he said, oh, that's fine. And I'm like, what in the world? How is that? Did he just agree to that? But then I thought, well, of course he agreed to that because I'm a successful person and I expect more money. And that's why he agreed to that. And then a few months later, I ended up with a different boss and sat down with him and I said, this is my expectation for money. And he said, that's fine. That's fine. And I'm like, oh my goodness, this actually comically works. And within a few months, I went back to the boss and I said, you know what? I've been taking on more leadership. I've been taking on more responsibility. I think I need a $3 an hour raise. And he said, that's fine. And I'm like, this is literally the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in my life. And I just kept doing that and kept plodding along and kept expecting people to respect me. And now, mind you, I worked hard and I built relationships. And you don't just get to just be a jerk to people, but I built relationships and I worked hard and I found better ways to do things. But, part of it is that I believed in myself because I knew I was successful. And it literally has changed my life. It literally has. Because of that one day, driving through Flint, Michigan, that I decided I'm not going to be poor. I don't care if everyone else wants to be poor. If you want to be poor, that's fine. You do your thing. You do your thing. You go ahead and be poor. You want to fake it till you make it, and you want to blow up your credit cards so that you can have some stupid Prada shoes, you knock yourself out. But for me, I've decided that I'm taking on the mentality that I'm already successful. So I don't need those Prada shoes. That's not what makes me feel good about myself. What makes me feel good about myself is that I don't have a ton of debt sitting around me. What makes me feel good about myself is that I can actually afford the things I like. And I don't need you to look at me and say, oh, he has expensive shoes on. You know why? Because I know who I am. I'm a successful person. Make the change in your life that happens from the inside out, not the outside in. Because the outside in is fake it till you make it. The inside out is as a man thinks in his heart, so he becomes. It literally is a biblical principle, but it's also logical. Imagine that. I hope you'll use it. I hope you try it. Take a swing at it and tell me what you think. But stop faking it till you make it. It'll leave you broke and angry. And I don't care who tells you to fake it till you make it. Stop faking it until you make it. It'll leave you poor. It'll leave you angry. And it's going to leave you so annoyed when you think to yourself, if I just would have looked at that silly scripture in Proverbs, I could have known if I would have changed my heart, I could have changed my situation. Little tip, little wisdom, get you a long ways. Hope you have a good day, and I hope you change your mind, because changing your mind can change your situation. Have a great day. Stay safe. Don't touch anything and then touch your eyes or your mouth, because it's scary out there, people. God bless you. Take care.